G'day, it's Pete here, and I'm here for a beginner session. And today I wanted to talk about giving yourself goals to improve or getting better at bridge in general. But by doing this, by setting yourself goals of where you want to be in the future. So the first thing you want to work out is how do I get myself to get into the tougher competitions where I can actually not just get beaten up? So what you want to work out is, where am I now, and what's the next toughest competition that I can get? So when you start learning, you start off in supervised, but you don't want to just stay in supervised bridge. You want to be able to progress into the next one. So what's the next competition that I can get without being overwhelmed by the level of competition? So there's typically supervised, and then there's no fear duplicates, or introductory duplicates. Most clubs have them, and then sometimes they've got sort of tougher duplicates and then really hard duplicates. So at your club, you should know which days the duplicates get tougher on, and you shouldn't just always be content with where you are. Don't just sit in the no fear duplicate. Always try and think, okay, I'm doing here. When I start doing well in this, let's start progressing into the tougher one. Because giving yourself the toughest competition that you can get is a really, really good way to actually improve. So you want to be trying to always extend the level of competition that you're in, because the better opponents that you can face, the quicker you'll learn and the better it is. So as soon as you start doing really well in these sorts of environments, try and challenge yourself. Give yourself a goal to always push yourself that little bit more. So starting off at supervised, it's a good start, but always have that aim of getting further and further into it. Other things past that are there are competition nights at clubs, so you want to work out when your competition night is and find the toughest competition that you can. And then maybe you have a state night where there's the toughest competition in the state, and you want to slowly progress your way until you can actually play there at a decent level. So that should be your main goal in your region. Other things that you can do are nationals. These are fantastic ways to improve, because there's really, really good competition there, and they're pretty accommodating to newer players as well. So the first step is sort of state congresses that you can get. This is sort of the lower level ones. Also, most nationals have sort of novice region sections or restricted sections, depending on how many master points you have. And then your ultimate goal should always be getting to the open. So you can work your way through these, maybe give yourself a shot, 1 or 2 shots at the novices, and then 1 or 2 shots at the restricted or intermediate. And then aim to always try and get into the open. Don't be afraid of the open. Our goal should be to always progress the next harder competition and work out how that you can actually get there. I personally just jumped straight into the open and was doing that. Got severe beatings for a while, but it is something that you can actually do. But these days, they've got sort of levels that you can get and go for, with as long as you don't try and stay there. You want to do it, try and do well, and then try and progress on further. Okay, so set yourself a goal to try and always push yourself to the next level when you can. So the next thing is, how do we actually get better? And just playing bridge isn't enough to improve yourself so that you'll be able to go up to that next level. So you always want to try and review what you did, what worked, what went wrong. So try and look at these hand records, try and work out what you could have done right. Ask people, ask these questions of the best people you know, what they think you should have done on these tricky hands. You don't need to just try and solve it yourself. Ask for more input. Whenever you're playing, find the best players that you know. They're always pretty willing to answer questions. If you say, what did you do here? Try and get that information. Ask these questions. Another important thing is to realize that just learning a new convention doesn't make you a better bridge player. In fact, learning a new convention might be detrimental to your bridge for a while. And most people love learning conventions because they think it makes them better, but it may not. It may work, it may help, but what I find is trying to improve your reasoning and logic skills, or your bidding judgment, or things like that within the confines that you've actually got, is a better way to actually improve, rather than focusing on learning new conventions. It's nice to learn some new conventions, and I'm not saying don't ever learn new conventions, but that shouldn't be your main goal of trying to improve. What your main goal of trying to improve is trying to improve your hand judgment and your card play logic. And to do this, you want to be playing in the toughest competition that you're willing to, and work out, can I move up levels? Can I try and get further, like higher and higher on like this ladder of competition? And also, when you are there, ask these good players, what should I do? At the end of the sessions, jot down a few hands that you had some troubles with. Ask them for their input. The more good players that you can ask, or better players than you that you can ask, you'll be able to build on your experience quicker by doing that. Don't just assume that you have to do this all on your own. Ask for some help. It doesn't always have to be the best player in the club. It just has to be someone better than you that can give you some input to how you can actually solve these. So these was just some thoughts on how you should try and get better, and try and set yourself goals to actually improve, and not just always be comfortable at the level that you're currently playing with. Target this next tougher competition that you might be able to get to, whether you're in supervised and moving to a no fear duplicate, or if you're playing in the toughest duplicate and considering moving to state night, or playing congresses and trying to move into nationals, or at a national novice section moving into the intermediate section. Things like this. This is where you should set your goal. When you're comfortable where you are, try moving up a level. It might not work, you might still go back a bit, but try and see how you go, because playing in these really, really tough competitions is a great way to actually improve. Anyway, I just thought I wanted to talk about setting some goals on how you actually go about it, because it's not often clear how you actually move up this ladder to be the best bridge player that you can. So important to discuss it. Anyway, let's jump straight in and look at some hands. Okay, so here I have an unbalanced 19 count. So some people like opening 2 clubs on sort of 19 counts. I don't. I really like, if I can avoid opening 2 clubs, I do. So here for me, this is a easy 1 heart opening. If partner can't respond, we are not making games. So if people count losers, they might say that this is a 4 loser hand or something. I don't like counting losers, so I'm not going to do that. But for me, this is an unbalanced hand. It's a really good hand for opening at the 1 level, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't open it. So I open 1 heart, and my partner bid 2 clubs, which the robots play as a convention. They play this as Drury, which says that they've got a maximum passed hand with 3 card support, at least. So one thing that you want to take into account when seeing conventions, don't let this confuse you. So just try and relate this back to how you would actually bid this. So a maximum passed hand with 3 card support, this is sort of like 9 to 11 points with support, which would be similar to it going 1 heart past 3 hearts in fight. So don't let the opponent's or your partner's convention scare you. If you can understand what they're trying to describe, try and relate it back to how you usually bid, and then think, all right, if my partner bid 3 hearts over my 1 heart, how would I actually go about doing this? What would I do? So first of all, slam could easily be on. So what I like to do in these sorts of circumstances is trying to place some cards. So can I give my partner 9 points where I'd actually want to be in slam? Alright, so a bit of hand visualization here. Trying to picture some cards that they could have. So one way to do this is think about what would I need for Grand Slam, and then take away some cards. So if my partner had the Queen of Hearts, Ace of Clubs, Ace of Diamonds, and Queen of Spades. Okay, they would fill in the Spade loser, the Heart loser, the Club loser, and the Diamond loser. But what I gave was 12 high card points. Ace of Diamonds, Ace of Clubs, Queen of Hearts, Queen of Spades. So they obviously can't have that, but that was for Grand Slam. For just a small slam, if I took away the Queen of Spades, I'm happy having 1 Spade loser. Then I would have Queen of Hearts, Ace of Clubs, Ace of Diamonds. That could probably make slam. So here I've thought of something in the middle ground where we're probably okay for slam. Now I don't want to just force there, because my partner doesn't have to have the world's best hand for me. They could just have an average hand. So I was just thinking of a perfect sort of minimum-ish hand. Here I came up with a 10 count rather than a 9 count, but it was pretty reasonable anyway. So I just want to allow my partner to investigate slam if they want. Now, the way I'm going to do that is hopefully show a splinter. So a splinter is another convention where I show my shortage. So I'm just telling my partner I want to go to game, and that I've got a short diamond, and I don't know. But basically, if they wanted to do more, maybe they might have Q-bid. So I think they're saying that they're not actually interested here. But depending on, like, you might not have done this, you might have had different things, but understanding that in general, what I was trying to do here is open the door so that my partner could show interest in slam. I said I was happy to go to game, and I have a singleton diamond. Do you want to go further? And it looks like my partner said no, because they didn't bid on. So here, rather than just asking for aces myself, I left it up to my partner. I showed a little bit more of my hand and said I'm interested in slam, and my partner said no, not having a bar of it. So we'll just pass that there. Okay, so they've got an okay hand, but here they've probably got what we wanted for slam, but they've got this wasted queen of diamonds. So we're going to lose one club. We have no heart losers, no spade losers, one club, and we'll be able to make slam. So some people will be in it, but that's all right. All right. Now, what I have to worry about here is how can I possibly lose more tricks? So in clubs, I've got king, queen, 9/4 opposite jack doubleton. So we're off the S. We're definitely going to lose one of them. But I actually have this second club loser that I have to do something about. So with the second club, I want to make sure that I can rough that. So if trump's a 4-0, I'll probably still need to rough a club to get rid of it. Another thing is with trumps. It looks like I'm not going to have any losers. I've got 9 of them to the ace, king, queen. And if the suit breaks 2-2 or 3-1, then we'll be able to be completely fine with that. So if that happens, I could cash either of my honors. But in this case, what you want to do is think about the fringe cases. Think of like the bad breaks. So if it's 4-0, what can I do? Now, if West has 4, I could cash the ace and lead low towards the 9, finessing the jack. If East has 4, I can cash the ace, I can lead low to the queen, and then low to the 10. So if hearts are 4-0, I'll be able to pick it up as long as I start with the ace or king here. I want to keep one top heart honor in each hand so that I can finesse through the player that may have 4. Now it's unlikely, but it's still good technique. Whereas if I cashed the queen of hearts first and West showed up with 4, I could no longer finesse that, and that would be not a great ploy. So here, what are we going to do? We're going to win spade here, cash the top heart, see if it's 4-0. If they're 2-2 or 3-1, we just draw trumps, knock out that ace of clubs, and eventually rough our final club. Okay, so we win, and a top heart. Doesn't need to be the ace, the king will do just as well. They're not 4-0, so I can just cash the other hearts however I want. Okay, and hearts are drawn. So now we want to knock out the ace of clubs. There it goes. And there's the 10 as well, so I don't even need to rough one. So all my clubs are good. I have the ace of diamonds, I've got the queen of spades, and I can make the rest of the tricks. So making +1. So some people manage to bid slam there. So here they didn't splinter, they just made up a spade suit. Don't really like that. Here someone just bid their club suit, which is okay. But for me, just showing my partner had a singleton diamond I thought was really important. If they could have Q-bid or done something like that, that would have been fine. So here, this person splintered, and then the robot bid 3 no trump instead of 4 hearts. So that's they got to slam when their partner bid something differently. So I like this way, sort of opening it up for partner, and if partner is interested at all, you can get to slam. Notice that he never actually took control. He never, after the 3-0, he Q-bid, so he kept just allowing his partner to make the final decision, and his partner did. He signed off in 4 hearts eventually, his partner keycarded, and they went from there. So I really like this style of bidding, and this is what I was trying to get to, but for some reason my robot chose not to. Anyway, that was board number 1. Here I have 10 high card points, so I'll just pass. And my partner bid 1 spade. So 1 club, 1 spade, double. So here I've got a fit for spades and 10 points. So I've got a hand that wants to sort of jump to 3 spades to show an invite with spades. But in competitive auctions, what you can do is you can use a Q raise. So if I bid the opponent's suit, as the responder, I'm showing a fit for spades and an invitational hand. So another convention here, which is equivalent to me just trying to bid 3 spades, but it just bids it at a lower level. And they doubled. I wasn't interested. Like, I've already shown my hand, so I just went on to 2 spades and let my partner play there, which they did. And we made on the nose. We made just 2. So when we do this, you can see the value of having this convention here. I got to tell my partner I had that good invitational hand, and we still managed to stop at the 2 level and make just 2. So it's really important, because if I'd bid 3 spades, I would have gone down in this case. So lots of people in 2 spades making 2. So that's a really important convention. You can use it as the responder or the advancer, partner of the overcaller. So here I was the advancer, partner of the overcaller, and all I do is bid the opponent's suit to say I have a fit for you and 10 or more points. This is not a Michael's Q bid, because Michael's Q bids only apply when you're the first person for your side to bid. So here, 2 spades, making 2. 5, 7 points. First seat not vulnerable, so I'll just pass. My partner opened 1 diamond, and the next hand doubled. So I've got enough points to respond, so I'll bid 1 heart. And then my partner doubled, which again is another convention. We're seeing lots of conventions today. Now, they shouldn't really scare you, but double here is what's called a support double. It says I've got exactly 3 hearts. So it's typically a hand that's just a minimum hand, but doesn't need to be. But basically what they're trying to say is they've got a hand that would have bid 2 hearts, but they've only got 3 of them. They want to show some support, but not. They don't actually have full support, because I could have just had 4 hearts. So a support double is used by the opener when their partner responds and the next hand intervenes. It didn't matter if this hand bid at all, but when the 4th person to act bids, and you've got a double available, you can use double to say, hey, I've got 3 card support for you. And this way I know, do I actually have a fit or not? So here I've got a fit, and I just want to compete, so I'll bid 3 hearts. And I get to play here. Alright, 3 hearts. So we want to start by counting our losers. Now I've got 3 spade losers. I've got sort of 3 heart losers. I have some club losers. I've got 3 club losers as well, and no diamonds. And we get a diamond lead. So I could try and ruff a spade. I could try and lead a club towards the king. I can try and draw trumps. I could try pitching something on diamonds. All of these are possible. So I've got dump, trump, and finesse available to me. But here we've got a bit of information. East made a double. They've got short diamonds and both the other majors. So hearts are probably 4-1 with East having 4. But they could be 3-2. When East doubles, it doesn't guarantee 4-4 in the majors. If West had a singleton heart, they're also more inclined to try and compete to 3 spades. So for me, this feels like I want to try and draw trumps, and then postpone the decision of trying to discard on diamonds. If they keep playing diamonds, then East might get roughs, but let's hope East only has a doubleton. So let's first see. 10 of diamonds, small, small, and I get to win the queen. So here it's really important to try and place where the missing cards are. And when West leads the 10 of diamonds, I know East has the jack, because if West had jack 10-9, they would have led that. I also know East is the one with the short diamonds. So East has probably 2 diamonds to the jack. So I don't need to be worried about the ace of diamonds being roughed. So I might start by worrying about my spade loser here and trying to dump it, to trump it, by giving up some spades and then eventually trumping the 3rd round. So we'll just lead a low spade, letting them have a trick. There's the diamond that we knew, and we'll give them another spade. Alright, and now they have played a heart for me. So this is good, because it starts to pick up the heart suit. So, Jack of Hearts. So that could be from Jack Doubleton, Singleton Jack, Jack 10 Doubleton. There's sorts of holdings. East has at least 3 hearts for their double. They really shouldn't be making a take-out double with less than that. Alright. So, if hearts are 3-2, I could put up the king. I could then put up the queen, and then I can ruff a spade. Alternatively, I could play low heart and then ruff a spade, and then play my top diamond, which would go ruff over ruff, but then I'm stuck here. Right, so what else could I do? So if I put up the king of hearts, it'll go king, ace, and small. I'm just trying to work out all the different ways that I can play this suit, because I want to try and use this king of diamonds, but as soon as I play it, it'll go ruff by east and I have to over ruff. Which will allow me to draw trumps, but won't be great. But let's just play a low heart here and get rid of my spade loser. And now try this top diamond approach. East will ruff, but if West actually had Jack 10 Doubleton, there's not a lot that they can do. So let's try this. King of diamonds, and they didn't ruff. Okay. So that's kind of interesting that they just let me discard a loser here. And if we look at my losers, I've still got a couple of heart losers, but I can try getting rid of my club loser. I can try leading a club towards the king. If I don't do this, I'll have just losers later anyway. So let's go on club, club, and they get the ace of hearts, and they'll get the 10 of hearts here. So going a couple down. So all flat. Could I have done any better? Remember, it's always important to try and review how you went. So they can beat me down 2 on the 10 of diamonds lead, and I win and gave up a spade. And now they continued with a diamond. And yeah, so down 2 was the best that I could do. Some people actually got out for down 1, but notice here that even though we went down, letting them play in 2 spades was a worse idea. They got a better score for that. So even though I went down, it was a good board, because if I didn't bid on, it would have been worse for me. Okay, 14 high card points, 5-4, so this is a 1 spade opening. 2 clubs again. Wow, we're getting used to this convention. Drury, maximum passed hand, sort of equivalent to a 1 spade past 3 spade bid. So 3 card support at least. Here I've got 14 high card points, so we're right up around there. And this is a really good hand with aces and kings. I've also got a doubleton heart, so that's worth another point. And aces and kings are fantastic. I like this hand. I'm going to accept. I'll bid 4 spades. I'm not interested in going further, so I don't need to do any of my other bids. I had no interest in slam, but happy to get here. And my partner's got a really good hand for me, and the robots found an odd lead here with the ace of clubs. So looking at my losers, I have no hearts, no spades. I have 1 club now, and I've got 3 diamonds. And the best way of getting rid of these diamonds is just by trumping them, which may eventually set up a spade loser for me, but they're guaranteed ways of getting rid of them. So let's just go ace of diamonds and trump a diamond. Okay. Now I'm just down to 2 diamond losers and no hearts, and that's all I really need to make this contract. If I had ruffed a club, that might get over ruffed, and then they might play a trump, and then I might just have I might not be able to ruff my diamond successfully. I have no good way of getting back to my hand. I could try ace of hearts, king of hearts, and ruff a heart, and then ruff a diamond, or I could just safely try and make my contract here. So if I was playing match points, I'd be more inclined to go ace of hearts, king of hearts, and ruff a heart. But by doing this, I open myself up to being over-ruffed, getting tangled up, and it's unlikely that I'd be able to go down from there. But I feel like there's something that could go down. So let's just draw trumps at this stage. Play queen of spades, and then jack of spades. Okay, and they both follow. So now I can ruff a club high and draw a trump. And we can actually make an over trick here by playing a heart over and roughing this final club, because that fifth club is now good, and they'll just get a heart in the ending. Plus 6.3, so that was quite good there. So some people only just bid 2 spades. That was really pessimistic on this hand. As we mentioned, a really good 14 count with a double turn, so opposite of maximum passed hand was worth going. Partner came down with some really good cards, and we managed to make. Some people went off here, so they bid 2 diamonds, 3 spades. Alright, so here I was just happy to bid 4 spades anyway. They got a heart lead, diamond, and they roughed a diamond. Tried a club up. They got a club back. Roughed and over roughed. This fear that we had, we got one cheap rough in and then went from there. So everything started unraveling here. Two things. They gave away more information in the auction when they bid 2 diamonds. I knew that 4 spades is where I wanted to play. Don't need to tell my opponents about what I've got in my hand. So I think bidding 4 spades is what you want to do. Alright, 1 club, 3 diamonds, and I've got 9 points and the opponent's preempted. I've got a club fit here, but no reason to actually try and bid, so I'll pass. My partner had a better hand than weak no trump, 11 to 14 balance. That would be coming back in this auction. So I don't need to try and bid here. When they've preempted, you don't need to compensate or do things like that. Like, I would have been willing to go to 3 clubs. 4 clubs is not as high as I'd be willing to go, so here it's an easy pass here for me. Now I've got an ace-king, so they're really good leads, so we'll start with that. Ooh, that's an interesting dummy. So East has 7 diamonds from the bidding, and West has 5 spades, 6 hearts, and 2 clubs. So I feel like just trying to get my club tricks here. So we get a club, another club. Okay, and we've now got that little bit more information. East has 2 clubs, our partner has 4. So it looks like my partner's got 4 clubs and 3 diamonds. So they're probably 4-2 in the 4-2 in the majors or 3-3 in the majors. We'll find out a little bit of information later. They've now gone top diamond, and my partner's won there. So Jack of spades to me. Right, so if my partner's got 4 hearts and 2 spades, I can return a spade here for them to rough. If they've got 3 spades and 3 hearts, then hearts were 2, 6, 3, 3. 2, 6, 3, 2. So East would only have a Dalton heart, and we wouldn't be able to get any tricks because the Queen of Spades is good for a discard. So the only way we can get an extra trick is if my partner can rough. So I know a couple of things about the layout. One along East will have no more major suit losers. The other one, East has no more major suit losers, but my partner can rough. So let's play for that. Didn't work. They get to draw trumps at this stage and lead a heart to the ace. They've got the king of hearts anyway. But so notice here that it didn't work. Giving my partner that spade rough failed, but if we swapped it around and like here, if I played a heart at that stage, let's just get to it. Okay, so there's where we were. If I play a heart at this stage, it's still down 1. So even though I couldn't give my partner a rough, even if they had the king of hearts, notice East only has 2 hearts, East could go up with the ace and play the queen of spades pitching a heart. So it wouldn't have worked either way. So playing the spade was the right play here, but didn't get rewarded this time. Alright, 11 high card points and an unbalanced hand. I'm not vulnerable. I like opening. This is my style that I like to open. I recommend opening unbalanced 11 counts, so I would do that. And 2 spades. And my partner's now made a game try. Now I am minimum, but I've got a short club, which is sort of what they're looking for. I do have 4 spades. So I don't want to bid game, but I want to tell them that I'm interested in doing more. So let's just bid 3 hearts. This usually says, hey, I've got something in hearts for you. And my partner said that's not what they were after. Okay, and they're in 3 spades plus 1. They only had 10 high card points. And if the opponents find the right lead, then they can actually hold us to just making 9. So it feels like we were in the right spot here. They didn't find the right lead, and we made 10 tricks, but we still won an imp anyway. So some people passed it in, missed their spade fit. Some people got to 4 spades and went down. So overall, pretty happy with that. So we're going all right now. We're up 11 imps after 6 boards. And this time we've got 13 high card points and a balanced hand. So I'll just bring it back up. So there's a 1 diamond opening. 2 clubs, pass to me. So in this spot, we've got a couple of choices. When you open and the opponent's overcall and it goes pass to you, my partner could either have nothing, like not much at all, or else they could have a hand that has lots of clubs and wants me to reopen with a double, saying I've got short clubs and happy to bid out anything else, and they have the intention of passing it out. Now, me holding the queen of clubs actually makes this less likely, but if I was going to bid, this is what I'd bid with a double, and I feel like I'm willing to try and compete here, not give up just so easy. And just in case my partner had that penalty pass, they could have passed it out. So reopening with a double is a really good skill to be trying to do, and a flexible bid. Most people, like in this situation, it was pretty clear that if I was going to bid, it would be a double. But there are other times where maybe I've got a suit that I could bid without reversing or without doing things, and people tend to bid that. Whereas reopening with a double is really what you should be striving to do, because one of those hands that your partner can have is that penalty pass. Anyway, West bid to 3 clubs, and that's good. Like my partner didn't have that hand that I was protecting against, but we still pushed West up a level, so my job here is done. Okay, and we get a heart lead. So we're on defense, and we want to try and work out where we can get 5 tricks. Now, it looks like it'll be a bit of a stretch here. Dummy came down with a pretty good hand with 7 points. West will have 6 good clubs, and maybe even more, which looks like they'll be able to make pretty comfortably because they'll just draw trumps. They'll get 7 clubs. The hearts are also, my partner doesn't have the king of hearts. The 8 can't be low from an honor or anything like that. So West has the king of hearts. All those hearts are good. The king of diamonds is well positioned. So they might have even missed 3 no trump here. But I think the best bet is that West has 4 hearts. It'd be weird for them to bid 3 clubs here. But maybe I could go ace of hearts, try and give them a heart ruff. Or alternatively, I could try and get a couple of spade tricks early. Give up on the hope of beating this, and just lead a low spade to try and get any spade tricks that we can get. I think trying to get spade tricks will be good, because I don't think West has 4 hearts, because otherwise they might have bid 2 hearts instead of 3 clubs. So we got 1 spade here, and my partner returned a heart. And they will pretty much have the rest here. Yeah, so we could have gotten another spade trick. Okay, 11 tricks. So, wow. Okay, West had a singleton spade. My partner had 6 spades. Did not pick that, especially with their lead. Also, after passing over the double, I thought they might have tried bidding 3 spades. But the opponents can always make 5 clubs here with everything working. So my balance was a little bit pushy, gave them another chance to try and get there, but they chose not to do it. And it's often that the opponents won't, and sort of protecting against that penalty pass seems a good idea. Anyway, I was going to wrap it up here. Thanks all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this beginner session on about setting your goals and trying to become a better bridge player, and always trying to challenge yourself. Hope you enjoyed the commentated play, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.